How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin back with another little video. Remember I said I was going to put some wires up this corner. So what I've done now is I'm going to be drilling a hole through there, and I got me a nice piece of pipe. This is a 1-inch pipe. We're going to be putting it down through here all the way up through the top cabinet. We still have solar panel wires that have to be put in, so we could run them wires right down that hole into our base where our battery and everything's at. So I'm just going to drill a hole. As you remember, if you watch the videos, I left a little space back here and a little space up here so we could put our wires down through there. So we're going to go ahead and get drilling some holes. I'm just going to take it and get it as close as I can to the back it is. And hopefully we can get a hole through here. This may be a tough one. I'm right on them two 2x4s. I didn't leave enough space in there, but I think it'll be okay. We'll get our wires through there for sure. Now what I got to do is drill a hole down through the top, up in the top cabinet in the back all the way down. That way we'll have a pipe going all the way through. Alright, I got my pipe back here in the back. You can see it back here. It goes all the way down the front. Right down through there. And I cut this piece of wood to go on the front of it just to kind of hide it. We'll get it up in there and then we'll just nail that into place. And that'll take care of hiding that pipe back in there. And we'll be able to stick wires, as many as we can fit in there, down through that hole there. They'll go right under the sink, and that's where we need them, down to where the battery and everything is. Alright, in the back you can see I put some liquid nail around that pipe, and then I put me just a vice grip to hold it up into place where I want to keep it. And we're going to let that dry, and then we'll get the wood put on the outside of it. Alright, it's been 12 hours. It's been a little bit over 12 hours on this shower pan. And we let it dry for the full amount of time. Actually gave it a little bit of extra time. And now I got me a gallon of water here. I'm just going to take a gallon of water and we're going to pour it down in here, and we're going to watch it down here and see if it's coming out. Seems like it's draining pretty good up here. Let's see. See, that's what I thought. We'd have a lock in there. See how it's gurgling up? So we know it's going down the drain. But the thing is it's got an airlock in there. But once you get so much water going down through there, there's no place for the air. Because when you're putting water in there, it's pushing air out. So let me do some more. We're just going to pour the rest of this jug in here. I'm going to pour it in as fast as I can. And we're going to see if it'll go down. So obviously we have to have some way of replacing the air, you know, giving more air to it. So you can see the bubbles coming up, but it is going down. But it's pushing that air out. You can see the bubble in the air back out of the pipe. So now I gotta fix that. So we need some way of putting air, letting air escape for this tank, from the tank. So I'll let you know what I'm gonna do there in just a bit. But let's look up underneath there. First things first, we gotta make sure there's no leaks. And that's why I went ahead and poured the water in there like that. And we're gonna see if there's any leaks. If there was any leaks, right there is where you're going to have them, because that water's got pressure coming back up out of that tank. So let's get down here, get our flashlight, and make sure Oh, that's nice. My light don't work. Let me go get some batteries. I'll be right back. Okay. You can see back in there, it's completely dry. I don't see anything under there. No water drips, no nothing. So I think that we're going to be okay as far as putting this thing in. You can see there's a little bit of water laying in that pipe there. I don't know if I could pick that up. Maybe I'll put something just wee little underneath of this pipe so that water drains a little better. So you can hear that all drained out. So maybe I'll liquid nail just a small piece of board or something right underneath that pipe so that water doesn't lay in there. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with the tank to get us some air in that thing. Since we don't have any leaks down in here, what I've done is I went ahead and pushed it back, and you can see I got some wee little brad nails going all the way around it. Not a lot, because I don't want to destroy this if I ever have to pull it back off. Now I was going to put silicone down in behind here, but even putting silicone back in there, this silicone sticks so tight that it may break trying to get it back off. So I'm just going to go over this lip right now and make sure it's got good silicone, and we're going to smooth it out because our panels are going to go down over top of this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a bead of this silicone and go right down in the crack and make sure it's down in there good. This is a clear silicone here. If we get a little too much, it ain't going to hurt. We'll just smooth it out with our finger. Because I don't want it real heavy on there, because those shower pieces got to go over top of this. We don't want anything to hold the shower surround away from the wall. We'll put a little bit over them nail holes too, or the little nails where we put the little nails in. And we're going to do this all the way around it, just to make sure it's sealed up good and tight. Alright guys, we're going to try to cut the tub surround in the back there, just the back wall. And I'm going to be using a respirator and eye protection, because I think this might be some type of a fiberglass, and if it gets in your eye, skin, or whatever, it's going to hurt. So you definitely don't want to breathe this stuff. I'm just going to be using a circular saw. I'm going to try it. I don't know what it's going to do, but we'll see. That seemed to work okay. I'm going to let it air out a little bit, then I'll mark my next cut. Now we're going to do our next cut. We'll let the dust settle, and then we'll come in and take it in there and try it. Okay, I went ahead and put that back piece in there. I had some help here and I went ahead and threw it in real quick. And what I did is I went down both sides with silicone behind it. On that side and that side, put silicone about an inch, about a half inch in. And then I took liquid nail and in about 3-inch swirls all the way down, clear down to the bottom until I got all the way to the bottom. We had to notch these little corners here. You can see where I notched it to get it to fit in there. And then I notched it over here. Now, nothing about this thing is square, and I think I told you guys that once. So, you know, it's up a little bit. It's this side of the tub, or the shower, is down a little bit, and that's actually good, so the water goes that way. But anyhow, we got it notched, and we got that piece in there, so, and I do say so, it looks pretty daggone good. So now we got to do the sides, but I'm going to do them a little bit later after that piece dries real good. And we're still over here waiting on the caulk up in there to dry for that pipe so we can get that piece of wood there put on. It just takes time and we got to give it. Okay, I went ahead and put the board on the outside, threw some caulk around it, looks pretty good. Julie's just going to primer that up. Everything's setting up pretty good. The back wall is good and dry now. Seems to be good and dry. We're going to leave the brace on there all night, so hopefully by morning it should be really, really good. Okay, Julie kind of chased this out. She's going to get some painting done. She's working underneath of that counter, getting the painting in, getting the paint underneath there, the primer. So I'm going to be working in the garage doing a couple things, just try to get things ready for tomorrow so I can get them put in. So I'm going to get this shower surround, 2 pieces cut for both the sides. We're just going to cut this 4x8 sheet in half. We need 2 24-inch pieces. We're just going to cut them in half, leave them off to the side. Then we're going to get on to something else. Alright, I haven't showed you guys these yet, but we're going to make 2 little tables inside there, one on each side. But I'm not sure how big I want them yet, so I'm going to cut this board in half. We know if we do 2 24s, we got enough lumber for 2 24-inch tables by 16 by 24. So I'm not even sure I want them 16, I might only want them 14. But anyhow, we'll go ahead and cut this board in half. Now, these are supposed to be flush mount table brackets, but they're really not flush mount because you could see this here clearly is going to hit the wall. There's no doubt that that's going to hit the wall. So what I might do is cut a little groove in the wall before Julie gets the painting in there, so these slide right inside the wall. That way they will be pretty much flush mount brackets. So they're actually pretty cool. They'll hold, I think, 250 pounds or something, so I think they'll do pretty good for a couple little tables. We'll go ahead and get this board cut in half. Now we should have 2 nice little tables. I'd like to round the ends off a little bit. That way they're not jabbing you in the side and stuff. But I'm going to take this in there and try it first. See what it looks like. Okay, from what I've seen, I think it's going to look pretty good. So I'm going to put this roll of tape right here on this edge. I'm just going to go around the edge because I want to cut that corner off. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll just leave both sides of my tape just so I can touch them right there, so they're touching on both sides, and then round that edge off. It looks like a pretty good edge. We're going to do them both at the same time, so Okay, I got these marked about 4 inches from the end over there. I'm just gonna make sure. I'm gonna make sure that's square up that side. Hold on. We don't want the bracket out further than what the board is. You want that bracket about flush with that board. So you want it just where it's right next to that. So when you put it up, it comes all the way up. When you put it down, it goes all the way down. So I'm gonna throw a couple screws down in here and just see what the bracket looks like on the wall. Because it might need cut down a little bit, maybe. I'm not sure. We're not sure on that yet. But we'll see. The only thing I got stainless steel screws, so that's what it's getting. I'm going to go ahead and get these 2 brackets on, take it in there, mount this thing on the wall before I go sanding it down, because I might have to make it shorter. I may have to cut it down even more. I don't know yet. I got the table mounted on there, and Julie kind of thought it was a little too high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 2 inches off the back of this so I could raise it up 2 more, or put it down 2 more inches. I'll show you the bed. You can see I'm real close to the bed. And if it'll go underneath of there right now at 36 inches, but if I take it any lower, it's going to hit the bed. So I'll have to take, I'm going to take 2 inches off of here, and I'm going to drop it down a couple inches. So it goes down just a little bit so you can put your arm on or whatever. It's going to give you a little bit smaller table, but it is a table.
It'll be alright.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I got the table saw set to take 2 inches off of this, so I'm just going to run them through the table saw real quick. Okay, we got them both cut off. All we got to do now is take them back in there. We'll measure 2 inches down from where we had them and see how it fits in there then. It's going to give us a little bit less of a table, but it's still a little table. It's big enough to put a plate of food on, or maybe even our little stove to cook on. Alright, there's the first table. Now it's a little bit lower. It's 2 inches lower than where it was before. See, it marked the walls up. Yeah. Right there and right there. So you either cut them out or...
Oh, this?
No, this piece right here. Right here.
That's what's hitting?
Yeah. See, I thought about taking a wood chisel and chopping that out of here. You know what I mean? And then fill it in, like smooth it out on both sides. But that gave me just a little bit smaller table, but it's still a table. And for not having any table in here, this little guy should be pretty good. It should work out just fine. Now we're going to be putting the other one over here on this side, so we'll actually have 2 tables in here. This camera don't want to focus that good, especially when I hit the white. But anyhow, we're going to put one over there in the same spot as we did over here on this side over here. Okay, Julie got a good coat of primer inside of all the cabinets. Everything's got primer now. All we got to do is get on the painting, and we're getting close to being done now. It's really close. It's so close you can almost taste it. It's there. So we got the tables built. Still got to sand them down and primer them and paint them, but everything else is looking pretty good. So another day tomorrow.